Hello students. In the previous class we have seen about the microprogrammed controls unit. In that we have came across the different terminologies which we have discussed. Now let us get into in depth of this microprogrammed control unit. We are going to see that we have came across one terminology known as microprogram sequencer. When you go with a microprogram sequencer, we do have inline sequencing, branch sequencing, conditional branch sequencing, subroutine sequencing, loop sequencing, instruction opcode mapping. Okay, let us get into the next block diagram of your sequencing. So when you go with the micro instruction, we do have this micro instruction sequencing block diagram. If you are going to see here, first at the starting we are going to give the instruction code. This instruction code is been given to the mapping logic. Mapping logic is nothing but it is going to map that instruction code to the required format, that is digital format. This digital format is been given to the multiplexer. Now if you are going to see, this multiplexer gets the input from the mapping logic, one input, and other input is from the subroutine register, and another is from the incrementer, and the next one is from the control memory, that is for the branch addressing, and the next one is from the branch logic selection, MUX selection. So for multiplexer, the selection bits you are going to generate it from the branch logic. Okay, so this branch logic will be going to give the multiplexer selection lines, whether it needs to go the inline sequencing, or it needs to go with the subroutine sequencing, or it needs to go with the branch sequencing, or it needs to go with the next instruction sequencing. That will be selected by using this branch logic selection. So based upon this selection bits, the multiplexer gives the output address. That output address is stored in the control address register. Based on this control address register, it goes to the control memory, that is ROM memory, and it performs the micro operations. Once the micro operations is done, again it returns back to the multiplexer, and the next instruction code is been given to the mapping logic and then to the multiplexer. Okay, so now in this sequencing capabilities is required in a control storage. First one, incrementing of the control address register. Second is unconditional and conditional branches. And the third is a mapping process from the bits of the machine instruction to an address for the control memory. A facility for the subroutine call and return. So for the call and return instruction, we are going to use the subroutine register, whereas for the conditional and conditional branches, we use the branch addresses. Okay, that can be an unconditional or conditional. Next, normal incrementing, that is nothing but your inline sequencing, can be done by your incrementer block. Okay, next one is nothing but your mapping process from bits of the machine instruction to an address for control memory. So that is nothing but your normal mapping from the machine instruction to the control address. Next comes to the conditional branch. How this conditional branch is going to coming to the conditional branch. In this conditional branch, how the conditions we are going to check. Now if you see here, there is a MUX are there. For this MUX, you are going to give the status bits, and that is known as condition bits. Okay, from the control memory, we will be going to have the condition selection. Okay, condition selection bits will be given for this MUX. Based upon this conditional selection bits, a particular status bit will be given as an output. So this output will be going to go with the loading of our address, and then it will increment to the control address register. So that is nothing but your control memory, and from based upon the control address register, that address, it goes to the control memory and it performs the micro operations. Okay, now in this control memory, based upon the conditional and unconditional branch, for example, there is a particular conditional. Based upon this condition unconditional, this MUX will be selecting one particular bit, and that loading of that address, that particular address has been loaded into the control address register. If suppose the condition fails, then it should be normally it should be incrementing the address value, and it should directly go to the next instruction to be executed. That will be done by your incrementer, which is nothing but your buffer you are going to have. Next, if I'm not having a conditional instructions, then directly I need to go with an inline sequencing. For that one, from the control memory we will be generating the next address, and that next address is being stored in the control address register. Now let us same thing has been discussed in the here. For the conditional branch, if the condition is true, then the branch address from the next address field of the current micro instruction, okay, from the current micro instruction next address field it is needs to go. Else it is false, then it is the normal flow of the program. The condition to be tested is nothing but what we are going to test: overflow, negative, or whether the resultant value is 0 or carry. That is nothing but your condition to be checked. When you go with an unconditional branch instruction, fixing the value of one status bits at the input of the multiplexer to 1. Okay, so that is nothing but if I am going with an unconditional branch, we are going to fix one of the status bit at the input of the multiplexer to 1. Coming of the mapping of instruction, how actually it has been mapping. That is nothing but we do have a direct mapping and indirect mapping here. Let us come with a direct mapping. In the direct mapping, you will be going to have opcodes of an instructions. Let us assume that I am having an instruction called add, and load accumulator, store accumulator, and burn is nothing but your branch instruction. For this each and every instruction, we are going to have an opcodes called as 001, 000, 001, 0010, 0011, 0100. Okay, so these are the 4 bits which is used for this opcodes. Now mapping bits. Now if you are going to see, we have seen that total out of 16 bits, that is nothing but your from 12 to 14 bits, 11 to 14 bits, we are using it as a mapping, opcode mapping. Based upon that particular address, what happens here, that 4 digits, based upon those 4 digits, it goes to a control storage memory. In that control storage memory, based upon the opcode value, that particular subroutine program will be executed. It can be an add instruction, and subroutine, load subroutine, or branch subroutine. So that subroutine is nothing but it is going to have some certain instructions which will be executed one by one, and it produce the result. So that is nothing but how we are going to do the mapping of instructions. Next, mapping of instructions to the micro routines. Now mapping from the opcode of an instruction to the address of the micro instruction, which is starting micro instruction of its execution micro program. So what happens now, let us see that this is my machine instruction. Here I am going to have 4 bits of opcode, and next we are going to have some address. Now what we are doing, this mapping bits with the micro instruction address is nothing but these 4 bits we will be going to map it to the control storage memory. So the mapping function implemented by ROM or PLA is nothing but you are going to have opcode. Okay, next we are going to have the mapping memory, that is nothing but your ROM memory or PLA. Next we are going to have the control address register. Next we are going to have the control memory. So the based upon that opcode, that particular mapping memory, ROM memory, are going to go. Next, based upon that memory, you will be taking the control address register. You are storing the in the control address register. You are storing the address of the subroutine program. Okay. Now from that, based upon that address, it goes to the control memory, and it going to execute the subroutine program. Next is nothing but let us come with a small example of your microprogram example. So here is a normal computer configuration. Here if you are going to see, you are going to have multiplexer, address register, program counter, and you are going to have a normal memory. Next here, mux data register, ALU unit, accumulator. And next here, if you see here, there is a separate block which is known as a control unit block. As we know that in control unit block we do have two registers. One is control address registers, one is something about your SVR, that is something about your data address register. And next we are going to have this control memory. Next we are going to have which is nothing but a control unit, control memory, control address register, and control data register. What is a machine instruction format of this particular micro program control unit? So the machine instruction format is nothing but total 16 bits. The MSB bit 15 bit is nothing but your I, which indicates that whether you are going with a register memory reference instruction, register reference instruction, or you going with some other instruction. Okay, next you are going to have the 4 bits of opcode. Next we are going to have total 11 bits of address. Okay, so here some sample machine instructions have been given here. Okay, these are the opcodes. What it does for functionality: add is nothing but accumulator plus memory address, effective address will be added to the end result will be stored in the accumulator. Branch is nothing but if accumulator is less than 0, then your program counter is loaded with that particular address. Store is nothing but accumulator contents will be moved to that particular memory location. Exchange means what? Memory address which is having in that memory address, whatever the data is there, that value will be exchanged with your accumulator, and accumulator value will be exchanged with your memory address. Okay, so this is nothing but your general machine instruction format. Now let us come very important for your final exam, which is nothing but your micro instruction format. This micro instruction format he may be asking in your final exam paper. This is one of the important question from this particular micro program control unit. What is this micro instruction format? If you are going to see, we are going to have how many bits of micro instruction it is. Totally how many bits it is? 7 bits. It's been used for your address field. Okay, so total 20 bits are there here. If you are going to see here, 7 bits I am using for the address field. Okay, and 2 bits I will be using for the branch field. 2 bits we are using for the condition for branching, and next we are using 3 bits which is used for micro operation fields, which is nothing but your F1, F2, F3 are nothing but your micro operation fields. Okay, F1, F2, F3 which is of 3 bits, which is nothing but your micro operation field. Next you will be having a 2 bits of condition for branching, next 2 bits for the branch field, and next 7 bits for your address field. Now let us get into each and every value. Now whenever we go with the field description, micro instruction field descriptions are nothing but your F1, F2, F3 are micro instruction or micro operation fields. So each is of 3 bits, means 3 bits means how many combinations? Total 8 combinations you are going to get. That is 3 zeros to 3 ones. So each and every bit combination will be going to generate any one of the micro operations. Let us see that one. First one is if you are going to see F1 micro operation, if it is 0 0, F1 is 0 0, none, that is nothing but a no operation. Okay, same thing will be done for your F2, F3 also. If these values are 0 0, then no operation. If it is 0 0 1, what happens? It is an add operation. Symbol is what? Add operation. What it is going to add? Accumulator contents plus data register will be added, and it will be stored in the accumulator. If the same 001 is there in my F2 field, then what happens? It is a subtraction operation. Accumulator contents minus data register value I am going to subtract. Okay, now if I am going to have in F3, then what I need to do? Accumulator contents will be XORed with the data register, and resultant will be stored in the accumulator. So on all the different instructions, micro instructions, whatever we want to implement, that will be implemented by using these 3 fields. If you are going to see, all you are going to have different combinations and different instructions. In F1, what are these different instructions will be going to execute? One is no operation, NOP is nothing but a no operation, add instruction, clear the accumulator, increment the accumulator. Next data register value will be moved to the accumulator. Next data register value will be moved to the address register. Next is program counter value will be moved to the address register. Next one is nothing but your data register value will be moved to the memory. That is nothing but your write operation. The same thing in F2. No operation, subtraction, OR operation, AND operation, read operation. Read operation is nothing but from memory I am going to read it into the data register. Next one is what? Accumulator to data register I am going to move. Next is incrementing the data register. Next is program counter value will be moved to the accumulator. For F3, what are the operations? No operations, XOR, and next complement the accumulator, shift left the accumulator, shift right the accumulator, increment the program counter, and the address value is been moved to the program counter. But the last one, 3 bits in F3 is reserved. Those are reserved for the different operations. Next comes to the next field. So here in a micro instruction format, F1, F2, F3. Total 3 fields are there. Okay. And the next these 3 fields we have discussed. The next field is what? CD, which is nothing but a condition for the branching. And it is of 2 bits. With these 2 bits, how many combinations I am going to get? Total 4 combinations. That is 00, 01, 10, 11. By these 4 combinations, how many conditions I am going to generate? These are the 4 different conditions which we are going to generate. The conditions are nothing but your unconditional branch instruction. Second is nothing but your indirect addressing. And the third one condition is nothing but your signed one. And the fourth condition is nothing but your 0. So what happens? What is the condition? Always equal to 1. So that is nothing but if this particular value is 0, 0, then if it is equal to 1, unconditional branch instruction. If it is CD value is 0, 1, then it is indirect address bit. That is nothing but your data register which are available. In the data register, whatever the value is available, those values acting as an address. I need to go to again to that address to get the next data. Okay. Next one is what? Sign. So what happens in the sign bit? What is the sign bit of the accumulator contains? Based upon that one, we are going to change. We are going to do the operation. 0. That is nothing but if the accumulator contains is 0 is equal to 0, then I need to perform certain operations. So these are nothing but your different conditional operations. Next one, if I am going to see the next field, what is my next field? Next field is nothing but your BR field, which is of 2 bits. That is nothing but your branch field of 2 bits. What is my branch field based upon these 2 bits? 4 combinations. Again 4 combinations means 0, 0 to 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1. If it is 0, 0, then it is normal a jump. Normal a jump instruction. Okay. In this jump instruction, what it has... if this condition is equal to 1, whatever the address register value is there, that will be moved to the CAR register. If it is 0, then CAR plus 1 I am going to increment and I am going to go with this. I am going to store it into CAR. That is nothing but if my condition is true, then based upon the address which we are providing in the address field, in this address field we are providing some address now. Based upon that address, I need to jump to that location. If the condition is 0, then what I need to do? I need to increment. I need to go with my next instruction to be executed. That is nothing but a jump. Next one is what? If my BR value is 0, 1, then it is a call instruction. Call instruction is nothing but again my address based upon if my condition is 1, then what happens? I am going to go with the address. In the address field, whatever the address is there, that will be stored in the control address register. Next, based upon that one, it will be moved to the subroutine program. So again it will be doing the +1 and it performs each and every subroutine program it will be executing. After executing of subroutine program, and it returns back to your main program. Okay, so when it needs to return back, that return address should be saved in the particular register. That register is known as a subroutine register. That is nothing but your sub branch register. SBR. In this SBR, what I need to do, if the condition is equal to 1, then your control address register value will be incremented by 1 and it will be stored in the SBR. Okay, and address field value will be moved to the CAR register. If the condition is 0, then normally it is incremented by 1 and next instruction will be executed. Okay, what is the next branch instruction? If it is 10 means return. Return means from the subroutine program I need to return back to my main program. To return back to the main program, I have already stored my subroutine, that is nothing but your return address, in my SBR register. So in the return problem or in the return subroutine, what I need to do in return instruction, I need to go to the SBR register. Whatever the SBR register value is there, that will be moved to the CAR register. Okay, next, if BR branch value is 1 then MAP, that is nothing but your mapping. I need to do the mapping. How I need to do the mapping? The data register values from 11, 12, 13, 14, 4 bits value will be moved to the control address register 4 bits. Those before bits are nothing but your 2, 3, 4, 5, fifth bit. Okay, the same thing, and the rest of the bits will be in the control address register will be moved to 0, 0. This is with your branch field. Okay, now what is symbolic micro instruction? Symbols are used in micro instruction as in assembly language. A symbolic microprogram can be translated into its binary equivalent by a microprogram assembler. Okay, so we are going to use a symbolic micro instructions. Okay. Now, so sample format, let us go with sample formats. As we know that we are going to have totally 5 fields will be there in this micro instruction. First one is label, that is the first label field. Next one is what? Micro operation field. Next is what? Condition field. Next is branch field. Next is nothing but your address field. What do you mean by label? Label may be empty or may specify a symbol address terminated with a colon. That is nothing but I will be using whenever I need to jump to a particular location. I will be using some, I will give some address to that one, some value. I will be going name. I will be naming some. I will name that particular instruction. So whenever I am going to call that particular name, directly it will be going to that particular name and it will be executing those instructions. That is nothing but your label. And always a label should be terminated with a colon. Next one is what? Micro operations consists of 1, 2, 3 symbols separated by commas. So we are going to have 3 symbols we are going to have, and those are separated by commas. Next one is what? CD. CD is nothing but a conditional field. In this condition field, we have seen that we do have 4 conditions: unconditional branch, indirect address bit, sign in bit, and the next one is 0 flag bit. Okay, so these are the 4 conditions we are going to check. Next one is what? Branch BR. In this branch field, I am going to have totally 4 branching operations. One is jump, call, return, and map. And the next one is what? Add. AD is nothing but your address field, which is nothing but your symbolic address field. Our next field are empty. Okay. Now let us go with some example. It's not recorded over here. Same thing, symbolic program is something org is nothing but originate, no operation. Micro operations, what is the condition, what is the branch, and what is the address field, that we are going to specify over here, which is not required that much. Now this one, if you are going to see control storage, this memory is of 128 bits. Okay, 128 locations you are going to have. Each location is of 20 bit word. The first 64 words routines for the 16 machine instructions you are going to have. The last 64 words used for other purposes, like example, fetching of the routine and other subroutine programs. Next one is what? In between one, that is nothing but your mapping. So the first address of the 16 routines are this one, 0000 to 00100. Okay, so that will be, that is a, that those are nothing but your mapping. Okay, now whenever we go with the control storage memory, it consists of totally 128 words, and each word is of 20 bits. Okay, so out of this 128 words, we will be dividing into two parts. One is 64 word bits and second one is nothing but next 64 words. So first 64 words will be going to hold the routines for the 16 machine instructions. So whatever the 16 machine instructions are there, for this one, what are the routine programs, subroutine programs are there, that will be saved in this first 64 words. In the last 64 words, we will be going to go with the other purpose operations, like for example, fetching of our subroutine program or any other extra subroutine programs. If ever I want to create it, then I will be using the last 64 words. So this is nothing but a symbolic micro program. Okay, so always keep it in mind that in the exam, if he asks you the what is describe about the micro instruction format or explain the micro instruction format, means you need to draw this particular format, micro instruction format, where you're going to represent F1, F2, F3, next CD, BR and AD, that is condition, branch and address field, and each and every field you need to explain it. Okay, now you may be having a doubt that this particular instructions how I need to remember. Somehow you need to remember. Okay, if at all you don't remember these particular symbols, all these instructions in a sequence, then simply draw this table with all the 8 different bits combination. Okay, and random and you just there will be nothing nothing more. First will be always no operation for all these three field, NOP. Okay, next one will be add, subtraction, XOR, and the next one dot dot, you can keep it and you can leave these fields. Okay, if you don't remember this micro instruction field. Okay, but when you come with your condition field and branch field, it is compulsory to draw these two blocks. Okay, next he may be asking you that symbolic micro instruction format means, in any symbolic micro instruction format we are going to have total 5 fields. One is label field, second is micro operation, third is condition, fourth is branch, and the fifth one is nothing but your address field. So that explanation you need to give it in the symbolic micro instruction form. Okay, next class we will be going to see the design of my control unit. Before getting into the design of the control unit, let us once again revise today's class. One more important question he may be asking you in the exam, that is nothing but your micro instruction sequencing. Okay, so a conditional branch sequencing or micro instruction sequencing. So whenever he asks you this question, you need to draw this particular block diagram and you need to explain this one particular block diagram. Okay, and apart from this one, you need to also draw this conditional branch block diagram also, and you are going to explain it. It is very simple. If you remember this particular block diagram explanation, automatically you can explain it by using this particular arrow marks where the data has been entering and where it has been executing. Okay, and mapping of an instruction, as you people know that you'll be using only 4 bits for your of course. Based upon these 4 bits, it goes to that particular address. In that address, in the control storage, you will be having one more address which is nothing but a subroutine address. It goes to that particular subroutine address and it will execute that subroutine program. Once the subroutine program is executed, it returns back to the main program. So this is nothing but your mapping, how you have been done the mapping. Okay, So in this direct mapping and indirect mapping, what we need to do is nothing but whatever the opcode value is there, based upon that opcode value, which is nothing but it will act as an address of my control storage memory. Yeah, we will be going to that control storage memory. We will take the address of your actual subroutine program from the control storage memory. Then based upon that address, we will be getting back to the address another ROM memory, and it will go to that particular address, and it will be going to execute the subroutine program. This whole does by your mapping of an instruction. Okay, how this been mapping has been done. Okay, very important is nothing but a micro instruction format. It is very important for your final exam. Okay, in the next class we'll see the design of my control unit. Thank you.